Hello, this is Amy Landalt from North Shore Acupuncture Center, and this is one of the videos in the whole series of perimenopausal in a pandemic. I almost said perimenopausal in menopause, which I guess happens as well. Today the topic is meditation. So I will talk a little bit about perimenopause and how meditation helps with that, but really the majority of the session is to talk about meditation. What is it? How do you get started? Just some of the common challenges that people have. So if you have questions during this, make sure that you put those in the comments, or if you have comments, put them in the comments, and we will try to ask those as we're having that conversation. If you are watching this after we're no longer live, again, still put your questions in there. We still want to hear from you, and I'll try to get answers back to you there as well. So let me tell you about our guest speaker. So our speaker today is a friend of mine, Jodie. So I have known Jodie now for 4 years, I believe. Actually met her the same weekend that I met Queen, who talked with us on Monday. So obviously was a part of my life, a weekend of my life that's had a huge impact on me. And Jodie is the owner of Essence of Life Integrative Wellness Studios in Chicago and Streamwood. Streamwood, right?
Shorewood.
Shorewood.
Yeah.
One of those S woods. You know. But she's an inspiration to the masses. So she will forever be the little angel on your shoulder, talking you through life's many challenges. And I've experienced that personally. She knows exactly when to text me and check in on me. And even right before we were starting this, she said, hey, what's up with you? You know, I noticed you're doing a lot right now in work. And are you okay? Are you stressed? Because she knows. And I don't even know that we talked about that before, but she knows that that is what I do when I'm stressed, that I work more to avoid having space and silence, which we're going to talk about the value of later.
Already got me guide, we're not even 5 minutes.
So Jodie is best known as a highly sought after keynote speaker, mindset coach, best-selling international author, and founder of Essence of Life Integrative Wellness Studio, which I mentioned earlier. And last year, Jodie had the honor of being named the Inspirational Woman of Chicago. Can't read my writing. Award winner by Global Women Company. She pours love, gratitude, inspiration, and self-confidence into others through her online coaching programs, YouTube channel, podcasts, and guided meditations. And like I said, just through her friendships and being her. Jodie has been blessed in life to share the stage as a speaker alongside her mentors and some of mine, and has been honored with the chance to interview some of the industry's top influencers, such as Dr. DeMartini, Lisa Nichols, Dr. Love, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., and many more for her YouTube channel, Jodie Bodek TV. So you can follow her on YouTube. And after starting her career decades ago as a teacher in various healing arts, she now shares her passions and knowledge by leading the next generation to greatness through her accredited schools in yoga teacher training, mat Pilates teacher training, reformer teacher training, and meditation training. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for asking. I was honored.
So before we get started, meditation is one of those things really that helps with pretty much everything in your life. So with perimenopause in particular, there have been studies that have been shown to have meditation, a regular meditation practice, reduce the intensity, the frequency, and duration of hot flashes. It helps with pain and reducing the amount of pain that you feel, with sleep disturbances, with brain fog. So if you haven't started a meditation practice and you're struggling with some of the negative side effects that some women have during perimenopause, this is a great time to start because it really can help address those for you. So thank you for joining us today to talk about meditation. So let's start way back at the beginning. So what exactly is meditation?
So is it okay to talk about God on your station?
Yeah.
So I never would ever push my personal beliefs on anyone. Okay. So if it doesn't resonate with you, just toss it out. Right. So the best way that I can describe meditation is speaking to your higher being, like your God, your whatever that means to you, he, she, they, them. Okay. And it's prayer, but it's allowing yourself to get still enough so that you can hear the answers. Does that make sense? It's just stilling yourself, because we can be like, oh, God, help me, blah, 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 blah. And then shoo, we're off, right? But if we can just get ourselves still enough, and actually, like when I try to meditate or teach a meditation, I'm kind of like a puppy. Like your mind goes and goes, right? So when you get a new puppy, you have to train your puppy. Like you have to train it to come back. It runs away, train it, come back. And so you have to train your mind to be able to go into that meditation. I've been doing this for decades, and there's days where I'm like, I can't do this. So it just, things happen. So when you're in that space and you're learning how to train your brain, don't beat yourself up. If you can just be still for 2 minutes, you're still for 2 minutes. But then you'll start finding that it'll become easier and easier for you. And oftentimes, all of our answers are right there, but we're so emotionally attached to what we think the outcome is supposed to be, or we haven't learned to manage our emotions yet, that we just react all the time. That with the meditation, it just allows you to calm yourself, receive your answers, and sometimes almost look at yourself as if, like when I look at you, I can see what's going on in your life, but you're so in it that sometimes you don't see it. So meditation almost allows you to step out of yourself, look at yourself, step back into yourself, and then react from there.
Last week we had Sonia Shokat Tully come on and talk about intuition. And part of what we talked about, because I think intuition is that voice of God or that spirit within you. And we talked about how that doesn't compete with, it's a quieter voice. You need the space to hear it. And it doesn't compete with cell phones and television and social media and all of that. And so again, that importance of creating the space.
Yeah.
And the other thing you mentioned, your brain's a puppy, and after 20 years of doing this and practicing regularly, you'll still have times where it's really challenging to not have your brain be noisy the whole time. A lot of times I'll have clients say, I can't meditate. I can't quiet my brain. I'm like, good. Because if you can quiet your brain, that means you're dead.
Right.
That's the only way. Like, that is not the goal, is to completely quiet your brain.
And there's so many different types of meditation, right? Like there are some times where you just want quiet and meditate. There's times where I'm playing Metallica and listening to meditation, or I'm playing my breathwork meditation music. There's times when I'm working out, or you can be running, or I don't like to run, but like a runner say they get the runner's high, right? It's just allowing yourself, your mind, body, and your spirit to connect, even if it's just for a few moments.
So you probably shocked a lot of people right now because you said listening to Metallica and meditating, or doing these different things. So a lot of people think of meditation as I'm just sitting cross-legged somewhere quiet, maybe with chanting music on, if anything. So tell me more about different types of meditation practices and some of the different things that you do.
Yeah, so every Monday night at 7:15 here at our Chicago location, I teach a breathwork guided meditation class. It's the David Elliott method. One of my really great friends, Lily Petty, if you want to look up, she makes, it's her company's called Clutter Healing, and that's how I learned from her, from a place that I actually, coincidental how we met each other. My favorite meditation studio in California is called Unplugged. And that just really made me dive deeper into it. It's just absolutely amazing. And I'm throwing out all these names to you guys because there's so many people. Like you might find a yoga teacher that you love, and you might find a yoga teacher that you don't like, but somebody else loves them. So you're always going to find somebody to connect with. So if you're not connecting with me, just reach out and I will give you tons of resources for other people. So with meditation, you can either be still, right? You can sit Indian style, you can chant, you can take the tongue to the roof of your mouth, you can, let it vibrate, all of those beautiful things. You just have to find what works for you, and without expectation, right? Because every single time like that I do a meditation, it's completely different. There's been times on a Monday night that we're doing a breathwork meditation and the floor is vibrating and I can't move. There's times that we have a gong bath, you know, and just the vibration of the gong, and or else we're doing the bowls. And I'm not trying to sound woohoo because it's not woohoo, it's scientific fact. Also, what happens is when you do your breath work and your meditation, you stimulate the vagus nerve stem, which is beautiful. It allows us also to bring in so much oxygen and our brain fires faster. Since I started meditating, like I was born with a beautiful gift of intuition. I am very gifted in all of those things. Since I was tapped into my meditation and my breath work, my intuition is up to here. Now, my ego sometimes it keeps me here, right? But my meditation and my intuition has allowed it to like just know when to say yes, know when to say no. You get that like when you were talking about, is it Sonia? A few moments
Yeah.
ago. I had goosebumps when you were saying that. So there is really no wrong or right way, you know, whatever works for you. That's like judging someone on how they live their life if they're a completely different culture, you know. So there's so many different styles that if you just take 2 to 3 minutes a day and just calm your mind, close your eyes and breathe, then it can change everything. Can I talk about chakras on here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 7 different chakras in your body. Each chakra is an energy cluster. Most people are physically ill because they hang on to their emotional crap. So it'll show up in your body. Like if you're starting to have an illness, as you know with your acupuncture, you know where to put things to help things to piss, go away.
Yeah.
So you have to have everything working in order. Okay, so I always think about a lotus flower. Lotus flower is pretty even when it's closed, but when it opens up completely, it's absolutely breathtaking. Okay, or if you think about the old time clocks, like how our grandpas had, and like each thing had to work in order to make that clock go around. So you have your chakras. This is your crown chakra, represents your spirituality. Your third eye is your intuition. Your throat is how you communicate. I do not care what you're putting out to the world, what you're saying to yourself makes a difference. So when you look in the mirror, you don't find what's wrong. You say, I have beautiful eyes, I have beautiful smile, all of those things, okay? Heart, hope, love, and faith. Key to everything is forgiveness. Solar plex is where we harvest some emotions. So sometimes if you twist or turn and you're like, ugh, it's because we're hanging on to these emotions that we don't want to let go of. Your navel area, that's where your confidence comes from. If I could gift everybody something, I would gift them self-confidence. It's not ego, it's confidence. Also, if your belly is expanding in that area and you know you're eating right and you're exercising right, sometimes it's stress. Cortisol levels are high. Then in your pelvic area is your root chakra, kind of the sense of everything that you are. So a lot of times I'll do a guided meditation where I'll start you at your crown and talk you through there, and then your third eye, through your throat, and then working down. Giving yourself permission is the key. Giving yourself permission for self-care. That isn't selfish, my friends. It's not. It's the key to making you be the absolute best that you can be. Does that answer your question in a big, long answer?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so right now we're in the midst of a pandemic. So we're talking about perimenopausal and the pandemic. And one of the reasons that most of us can feel off is something like that goes right to the root chakra. So you just talked about how all of these need to be in alignment. And if you shoot right to that root chakra, so I know I've had some people talk about, I'm still able to work. I haven't been severely impacted, but I still feel off. That's why, because it still goes to your root chakra.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you need to do things to help balance that, which
Absolutely.
meditation can help.
Finding ways to soothe yourself, right? So meditation and yoga and exercising is very soothing to me. Like I just sold all my, we used to teach spin class in my studios. I sold all my bikes and stuff because here at the condo, we have everything in our gym. When they took my gym away from me, I was like, oh, I still have yoga and Pilates and reformers and all those things at the studio, but I didn't have my bikes and my treadmills and our weather wasn't good. So I'm like, how do I soothe myself? So I started tapping into more meditation and more self-help to soothe, you know? So finding a way to soothe yourself during the pandemic. And I have no judgment on what people are doing, but there's a way that is going to be harmful to yourself, and there's going to be a way that is going to be non-harmful to yourself long term. You know, sometimes I'm the first one to say you want to go have a drink, you know, but during the pandemic, I've had 2 drinks the entire time because it'd be very easy to go in that direction. And I see a lot of people are drinking way more than they ever have. Where if you could learn, and that, especially when you're doing your perimenopausal period of your life, I tend to, the weight in the belly definitely changes, and ladies start getting body dysmorphia, you know, and I hate to say that, but they really do, because their body is changing. And how my one friend who just finished up with her menopause said, and it was beautiful. She said, I finally accepted the fact that I went from being a princess and now I'm in my queenhood. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful, you know? So giving yourself permission, you know, to go into being the queen, you know, and stop beating yourself up where I'm not my youth anymore. I'm not this, I'm not this, but the acceptance and the rite of passage, and giving yourself permission in your mind and in your meditation as a queen. How do I do this?
Mm-hmm. If you're struggling with that in particular, last Friday we did we had a discussion. I had a discussion with Malik Turley from Hip Circle Empowerment Center specifically about body positivity. So if you're watching this and that's one of the things you struggle with, that's a place to look. And Queen and I talked about uncovering your inner queen. So you're tying into all of the conversations that we've had.
Awesome.
One of the things I've noticed right now during this time is that my meditation practice had to change. So historically, I would do, something like Headspace or sitting with some guidance, and I wasn't able to sit. I needed movement for my meditation right now. So instead, it was my walks in the woods, which I've been doing a lot, and just trying to be mindful, focusing on what do I see, what do I hear, what do I smell, what do I feel? Do I feel the wind on my skin? And just trying to continue to go back to that, to stay present, or tapping, something like that where I have movement.
Yeah.
But it's important to know you want to have all those different types of tools and teachers, because something may work for you at one point in your life and then it doesn't for a while and you have to switch.
Yes, absolutely. And give yourself permission to feel safe, and find yourself also a teacher that you do feel safe with, someone like I feel safe with you, so I'd be okay with going in, and being very vulnerable, because there's such a strength in being vulnerable. And in your meditation, you allow yourself to be vulnerable. You give yourself permission to not have to take care of everything and just receive.
That's beautiful. So you've already alluded to this, but I'll just have you reiterate it again. Is there a certain amount of time that I should be meditating? And
everybody has their idea. I always tell everybody to start off with 2 to 5 minutes. If that's all that you can do, 2 to 5 minutes. I generally give myself about 30 minutes minimum a day, and sometimes that doesn't happen all at one time. So I might not be in it, right? Like my energy just might not be there at that moment, but just make sure that it becomes part of your day. Generally, like I try to do it first thing in the morning. So before I even open my eyeballs, I say, thank you, God, for the beyond blessed life that you have given me and you continue to bless me with. So right then I set myself in gratitude. I speak into truth, what is already going to be in my life, which is more blessings. And then I put myself in that resting state. And then I try to meditate, and then I get up and I do all my stuff. And then usually in the afternoon, I also, in between shifts, because I work split shifts, in between shifts, I give myself about an hour. So that's for lunch, for meditation. If I need to shut my eyes for 15 minutes just to sleep, I can do that too. But then it's almost like it's a reset for the evening, So I have my day, I got a whole nother reset to happen for the evening.
Nice. So you have some meditations that people can use to start, correct?
Yeah.
So they should go to your YouTube page for that.
You can go, I think they're on Spotify. They may be on YouTube also. Back in 2007, when it wasn't even cool to be a meditator, a friend of mine, Cherise, sat a computer down in front of me. I just learned how to do emails at that point. She turned on the mic. She said, "Speak," and I was like, "Okay." And then next thing I presented a CD, and now we're digital. So definitely we're going to be putting on a lot more meditations. So absolutely. And then I'd love to invite all of you guys to come to our space when we are outside, but when we're inside too, we can have some more fun. It's amazing.
Yeah, so tell people more about how to work with you. What is your website? I'll type that in here.
Sure. It's jodiebaudet.com, or else you can do Essence of Life Chicago or essenceol.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in Instagram and stuff, if you just went on Jodie Baudet, all the links are in the link tree.
Okay. Perfect.
How exciting. I'm so proud of you.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
So are you doing any virtual classes right now? Will you have meditation classes starting in the studio? We're like right in the midst of this weird period, right?
Never stopped. Never, ever stopped. So one of the most beautiful things that I'm very honored for is we were deemed essential right away. And I think writing all the books and all the stuff that we do on YouTube and stuff really allowed people to view it a little bit differently, that it does help. So as far as classes, we were doing them all virtual. I do have a breathwork meditation class that happens every Monday night at 7:15. And now we're allowed to take them outside also. So that's really cool. It's exciting. But yeah, any of the sites, again, it's all on Linktree. We're doing yoga, Pilates, all that wonderful stuff.
So go to Linktree on Jodie Baudet Instagram, correct?
Yeah. And then if you want privates or coaching or any of that, again, just go on to Instagram or Facebook, and it's all in our links right there. So it's fun. It's really great. I love working one-on-one with people, but I also love the big energy of the group. We'll be putting together as soon as we can have more than 10 people. We do a program called Manifest Your Life, and we strip it down and we build it back up. We rewrite your story, and it's so powerful. So powerful.
Yeah, so if someone wants to do, when is that going to be starting again?
Hopefully we can do one at the end of July or August. I like to do those half inside, half outside, vitamin D, the sun, it's amazing. I just don't want to schedule something for outside. And then I had to cancel probably 15 classes this week because of the weather.
Right. Yeah.
And if we can be inside also.
Yeah. That is an excellent class, because a lot of times during this period of our life, that's what we do. We reevaluate and determine what's working for us and what no longer serves us. So having a class where you can have those discussions and be involved with other people exploring the same is really helpful, because another piece that helps perimenopause is community and being in community with others.
Yes. And oftentimes we tell ourselves a story that sometimes really isn't true. And we might have heard something when we were 5 years old. Subconsciously, we carried that the whole way, and so now we can just change that story.
And to your point, it's easier sometimes to have other people look at that and find that nugget and point it out to you versus it being able to do that yourself.
Absolutely, because we're going to hang on to that. That's our truth.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for taking time with us today. I really appreciate that. And make sure that you check out Jodie's YouTube page, and soon to be reopened, or take some of the virtual classes in the interim at Essence of Life. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Love you. Bye.
Love you. And just a heads up for people, we still have one more week of this. So tomorrow we'll be talking about movement. On Sunday, we'll be talking about hormone replacement therapy, taking a break on Monday. And Tuesday, we're back talking about yoga for bone health, which I'm sure you can appreciate. And then, embodied creativity. So how you explore your creativity during this time of life. sexuality during perimenopause, and pelvic health during perimenopause. So lots more good stuff to come. Make sure you follow North Shore Acupuncture Center. It makes it easier to find the Facebook Lives when they come up. Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Thank you.